Imagine a world where time isn't linear, but an eternal loop where free will dissolves under the weight of quantum entanglement. In this video, we explore Dark, a story that masterfully intertwines philosophy, physics, and Nietzsche's eternal recurrence. Netflix's Dark transcends science fiction, blending philosophical inquiry and scientific theory. At its core are two key ideas from Nietzsche: the eternal recurrence, the infinite repetition of all events, and the Übermensch, a transcendent figure who rises above determinism. These concepts intertwine with the mechanics of quantum entanglement and the physics of time travel, forming the backbone of the show's narrative. In Dark, time fractures into an infinite loop, mirroring the eternal recurrence. Worlds A and B emerge from a catastrophic time anomaly, entangled like quantum particles. Events in one ripple into the other, sustaining the loop and binding its characters to deterministic causality. This entanglement is reminiscent of the Bohm-Bell experiment, where particles remain linked across vast distances. Jonas and Martha represent these entangled states, bound by deterministic causality. Claudia, the show's most enigmatic character, transcends this deterministic logic. Like Nietzsche's Übermensch, she gains a meta-perspective, unravels the knot binding the worlds, and leads Jonas and Martha toward breaking the cycle. Claudia's transcendence symbolizes the emergence of true freedom and higher consciousness. Beyond the plot, Dark dives into deep philosophical questions. Is free will an illusion? Is consciousness merely an evolutionary error? These themes resonate with Nietzschean and Jungian archetypes while challenging our understanding of reality. The loop respects principles like quantum superposition and the Novikov self-consistency principle, blending science with metaphysical inquiry. Dark is not just a story about time travel and world travel through quantum entanglement. It's a reflection on existence and the nature of reality, the interplay between determinism, causality, and free will, and transcendence, which is the next stage of evolution. Perhaps, like Claudia, we must embrace a higher perspective, a meta-perspective, in order to transcend the cycles of our lives. Indeed, Adam embodies faith over reason, driven by his unwavering belief in destroying the knot. Eve, because she is a mother, wields reason over faith, methodically preserving the loop. Claudia, however, balances both, harmonizing faith and reason to transcend the loop and uncover true freedom. Their struggle is not only one of faith versus reason, but also a deeper conflict between life, death, and consciousness. Adam aligns with death, seeking to end the loop, Eve with life, striving to sustain it, while Claudia represents consciousness, balancing the two to chart a path toward transcendence. But Dark, at its most fundamental level, is a story that exposes the inherent wrongness of consciousness within the loop. Salvation lies not with those born of the loop, but with those who transcend it. Ironically, most of those who truly exist in the origin world, with the exception of Claudia, seem blissfully unaware of its existential angst. Consciousness, as Dark suggests, is the fundamental glitch in the matrix. The four phases and four singularities. In Dark, existence unfolds in four phases: creation, recursion, evolution, and transcendence. Each represents a key step in the journey through the quantum loop. The story begins with the Big Bang, the fracturing of time that creates an entangled recursive loop. This is the knot that binds two worlds, A and B, together in eternal causality. Next comes life. Jonas and Martha emerge as key players, perpetuating the system through their actions and offspring, the unknown. Life sustains the loop, but remains bound by its deterministic rules. Consciousness evolves with Adam and Eve. They manipulate the loop, but even self-awareness cannot break free. Consciousness becomes the loop's greatest glitch, realizing its own futility. Finally, transcendence. Claudia transcends the loop's determinism, uncovering the nature of the knot and collapsing the cycle. She becomes the Übermensch, forging a new path. Dark isn't just about time travel. It's a journey through creation, recursion, evolution, and transcendence. Consciousness as an evolutionary blunder. In Dark, a single phrase resonates deeply: "We are wrong here." It's a stark reflection on consciousness, a theme that ties to both Nietzsche's philosophy and Dostoevsky's haunting insights in Notes from Underground. Dostoevsky once wrote that true consciousness is a curse, a constant awareness of one's futility in a world ruled by determinism. Dark takes this idea further, showing consciousness as a glitch in the quantum loop. Consciousness gives us self-awareness, but also despair, the realization that we might be powerless to change our fate. In the quantum loop of dark, this is literal. Every choice leads back to the same outcome. We are puppets thinking we're free. Dark forces us to ask, is consciousness humanity's greatest achievement or its fatal flaw? As Dostoevsky said, to be too conscious is an illness, and maybe, just maybe, we're all wrong here. In dark, worlds are like quantum particles, and consciousness acts as a quantum number. World A is a particle with a spin of 1, where Jonas represents its quantum state, +1 or -1. World B is an antiparticle with a spin of 1, where Martha's quantum state is +1 or -1. The origin world is neutral, with no Jonas or Martha, represented by quantum states of 0. This mirrors the Bohm-Bell experiment, where a pion decays into two entangled particles. Similarly, the origin world splits into worlds A and B, two entangled realities connected by the knot. Jonas and Martha are more than characters, they're quantum numbers defining their worlds. Consciousness itself is entangled within the loop, driving the recursion we see in dark. The 2019 apocalypse creates thus a Bell state, a quantum entanglement between worlds A and B. This entanglement sustains the loop, locking Jonas and Martha into recursive causality. In World A, Jonas exists in two possible states, one where he's saved by Martha and becomes the father of the unknown, another where he remains and transforms into Adam, perpetuating the loop. In World B, Martha also exists in dual states, one where she evolves into Eve, ensuring the loop continues, another where she saves Jonas, setting him on a path to father the unknown. Together, these states form a Bell state, capturing the entanglement between the two worlds. This entanglement sustains the loop, locking both worlds into recursive causality. The loop's end corresponds to a transition to a no-loop state. This removes Jonas and Martha, producing in fact two copies of the origin world. By introducing a Hamiltonian operator, this process becomes a unitary evolution, cycling between the loop state and the no-loop state. But how do you break a loop sustained by quantum entanglement? Breaking a loop sustained by quantum entanglement requires the right initial state, a superposition of both the loop and no-loop components. Without the no-loop seed, no evolution can disentangle the system. In this model, freedom from recursion and determinism isn't destruction, but a smooth, continuous evolution that starts with the right initial conditions, proving that escape begins at the system's foundation, a singular loop. But how do you really break a loop sustained by quantum entanglement? In dark, the quantum loop is broken when Jonas, guided by Claudia and Adam, brings Martha to the origin world. This reglues worlds A and B into a single causal chain, forming a new circular progression, a state fundamentally different from the original infinity loop. This new reality comprises the origin world, or its two copies, as the destination, the quantum infinity loop, which must be broken, the singular world of the circular loop, acting as an environment influencing the infinity loop, and a cosmic detector observing the system's state. The initial state of this system is a superposition of a loop and no-loop states. We imagine a cosmic detector which clicks if it measures the origin world, no-loop state, and does nothing otherwise. We also need to take the state of the singular circular loop into consideration to obtain the total entangled state. The system interacts with its environment, represented by singular Claudia's circular loop. This interaction causes decoherence, collapsing the superposition into a mixed state. Indeed, the states of the singular circular loop are assumed to be inaccessible, and thus they must be traced over to obtain the actual reduced density matrix of the system. The environment, acting like a cosmic detector, determines the system's final state. The loop continues with some probability p, or it collapses to the origin world with probability 1 minus p. In breaking the loop, dark highlights the power of decoherence, how entanglement with the environment can transform pure quantum states into actual outcomes. Furthermore, the breaking of the quantum loop occurs only according to the Born's probability of quantum mechanics. The supremacy of quantum entanglement over time, causality, and consciousness. At its core, dark presents the loop as a quantum superposition. The two worlds, A and B, exist in a Bell state, a state of entanglement that sustains the recursion. Jonas and Martha, acting as quantum numbers, anchor their respective worlds in this structure. This entanglement drives time travel, which isn't linear, it's cyclic. Moving to the past means looping forward in time until you arrive back at that point. The loop structure also allows for world travel, fueled by entanglement, crossing through the knot. Novikov's self-consistency principle reveals that while free will feels real on a local level, globally, the loop enforces determinism through quantum entanglement. In this framework, causality and fate are dictated not by time, but by the quantum states of the loop, ensuring all choices align with its self-consistent structure, a concept resonating with Jung's synchronicity. Thus, the true engine of reality isn't time travel, it's quantum entanglement. Entanglement shapes causality, binds fate, and sustains the recursive loop connecting worlds A and B. Entanglement is the backbone of Dark. It links Jonas and Martha, Adam and Eve, and even the worlds themselves in an intricate web of causality. Time travel is just a tool, but the loop is rooted in entanglement. Entanglement also personifies the fundamental archetypes driving the story. Adam versus Eve, representing death and life. Faith versus reason, echoing chaos and order. Good versus evil, manifested in their conflicting visions for the loop. These archetypes play out across the loop, sustaining its recursion. Adam seeks to destroy the knot, while Eve fights to preserve it. Both are entangled, unable to escape their roles. But Claudia offers a way out. She transcends the entanglement by stepping outside the loop, uncovering the knot's nature and the origin world. She challenges the binary struggle of Adam and Eve, presenting a third path, freedom from the loop. Claudia's vision isn't rooted in entanglement's determinism. Instead, she represents a singularity which redefines causality, creating a new horizon where the loop collapses and true free will can emerge. In Dark, entanglement is more than a scientific concept. It forms the foundation of existence, the anchor of fate, and the root of archetypes. The only escape from its grasp lies in a genuine fourth singularity, the emergence of an Übermensch. In this framework, the notions of the problem of evil and identity over time are also brought into question, while connections to the simulation and the Boltzmann-Schutz hypotheses are mentioned. Thank you for watching and joining me on this deep dive into the philosophy and physics of Dark. Let me know your thoughts on time, quantum entanglement, and consciousness, and how they shape the show's intricate narrative. If you enjoyed this exploration, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I look forward to hearing your perspectives in the comments, and I'll see you next time for another journey into the intersection of storytelling, science, and philosophy.